everyone, how's it going? Uh, okay, so book talk, volume 2. I just wanted to, I suppose, delve into what I've read this year. I think I mentioned I might have delved. I think in the last video I said something about going into different like books that I've read in the past, that are in boxes at the moment. But I've already read like a good amount of books this year so far. It's nearly halfway through February, and I just want to talk about that. It's fresh in mind, so why not? I'm gonna start off with the Levius, which is a manga. I bought this about 4 or 5 years ago. It's an awesome manga. Um, it's awesome. I think the artwork's awesome. I think the story's quite well. It's about Levius. He's the main character. He's got his uncle, and they fight people. It's good. I reread it this year, and I really enjoyed it. I think this is like a bit of a one-off thing, but a lot more is meant to happen, I think. And apparently there's sequels to the manga, in a different format of a manga. I'm not sure if I'll ever read that, but this on its own is really good. I really enjoyed it. Confederacy of Dunks is something that I really want to reread again because I haven't read that in like since I was 18, and now I'm 22. So, um, take your selfie seriously. This one's a great book. The Advanced Selfie and Self-Portrait Handbook. Yeah, so it gives a bit of an insight into posing, and I honestly thought it was very cool and vivid. It talks a bit about photography, selfie don'ts, do's. I don't know. I think it was a cool book that gives a bit of just a small amount of an insight onto how to take good photography, and in turn, which is similar to filmmaking. I thought that was really good. It was a bit self oriented orientated, which I thought was fine, of course, but I felt as though it was more written for a female audience. That's what I thought. But yeah, it's an alright book. I bought it at my local bookstore for like $10. Um, Lolita, I read that. I was reading this last year, and I read up to halfway through, and then it got pretty messed up, and I was like, all right, I might just not read, just stay away from it for a while. And then I finished it early this year, like right after New Year's, because I had about 100 pages left, and it was very reminiscent of another media, I think, where he kind of goes a bit crazy, and then he's like, oh, he's kind of going in and out of his head, and then he gets very delusional towards the end. I think there was something very similar to it. I guess there's a bunch of things that I can mention, but one of like a similar thing is Crime and Punishment, where the main protagonist he gets very drowsy and ill, similar to that, and he's falling into those depression slumps. It felt a bit similar to that. I thought it was a very messed up book, and I would say it's not for everybody, but I thought it was incredibly well written. And in the introduction, it does mention how the person who wrote it had been a university professor teaching language for about 40 years. So, language, literature, I'm not too sure, but yeah, very well educated person wrote the book, and it's very well written. I thought the first 100 pages were amazing, and then it kind of just just goes downhill from there. Philosophy of the Home. I bought this from Kinokuniya the other day. It was a very easy read, and I thought fashion is therefore the attempt to make art the medium and the form for the establishment of self. I didn't get that. I think with philosophy books, I think there's a thing with them where it's very roundabout, and it on purposely, I guess, tries to make it as confusing as possible to understand. And to me, a good book like The Alchemist, for example, that book down there, is a book that is very easy to read, and then it's very popular, of course. And the reason why is because it's easy to read. And I think a book, just because a book is advanced doesn't mean it's an advanced book, like it's an amazing book. Not necessarily. I think if a book is easy to read and easy to understand, then that's like the whole point of it, you know? So I did think the author here could have explained his points a bit more simply and a bit more understandably. But overall, I thought it was a good book. I wouldn't say it was exactly a philosophy about the home, because I think towards the later end of the book, it starts talking about just clothing and material items, and then just our relationship with plants. And I was just like, all right, that's not really about the home anymore. Because when I went into it, I was hoping to read about, how to invite people over, or like, what's the significance of that kind of stuff, Because I used to bring friends over and have coffee and stuff, and I haven't done that in ages. So I was thinking I'd like to read up on something like that and the significance of it, but there wasn't really much about anything like that. Cool book though. If you want to read it, you should read it. How to Make the Best Coffee at Home, James Hoffman. This one's a cool book. I'll just give it a little, just tell you a little story about it. But my brother, I guess ages ago, like years ago, lost his job or something, and then he went to the local bookstore and he bought me a book. And as you can tell, it's a book, it's hardcover, it's green, and it's about coffee. And those are some, favorable things of mine. So definitely chose a good book. It's a great book on coffee making and stuff. And then, from here I read Standard Magazine, which talks about a bit of history of coffee, and where there's coffee, there's peace. And I thought, I just think it's terrific. Coffee's amazing. I've always enjoyed coffee. I've been drinking coffee daily since I was 16. I wouldn't say I'm addicted, but I would say I have been at times. I do think coffee's great. Anxious People, I read this year. That was a good book. I wouldn't say it was amazing. I wouldn't say that at all. I would say it was very simple to read, and it was a bit elementary. It was just a good fun read, just a casual, good fun read, and that's about it. It was a casual, very good, fun read. Anxious People by Frederick Backman. So yeah, those are the few books that I've read this year. I'm reading a few more books now. The Iliad, I'm reading that again in a different translation. I'm reading the Dante's Inferno, which is extremely difficult to understand. And I think I have a few other books that I'm reading and hoping to read. Kafka on the Shore, I'm hoping to read by the end of the month. So yeah, Iliad and Kafka on the Shore, I like to read by the end of this month. That would be awesome. They're both pretty big books, so that'd be awesome. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it maybe around there today, and next time I'll maybe pull out some books and then go, hey, I've read this book and that's very interesting and this and that. Also, I just realized here I actually, once I finished reading this book, I wrote a little something on it. And let me see if I can bring it out. If it is in here. Huh, it's not in here. Here it is. So I wrote, Philosophy of the Home, an interesting book that delves into the philosophy of home. It lost me halfway through, but it speaks on rooms, corridors, occupying space, how tiring at home can be. It's an interesting book drawing on info from religion, history, and philosophy, as well as the author's personal history. The conclusion at the end was, home will be the universe of the future, which he's mentioning like mobile phones and the internet. Quite interesting. Wonder if there was much contradictions here, because I felt like there was a lot of contradicting uh, ideas in the book. But here's a little close up of this, and that's going back in the book. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'd like to post more, I think. Probably not more. Definitely, if I were to post, it wouldn't really be for any gains. It'd just be for fun, and I would just want to do it in a way that it matters. So me talking about my books matters a lot, because books, and I like books, and it matters a lot to me. Something I've been passionate about for like years now, um, and quality over quantity. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks.